They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of sports.
It seems like Tank is tired of people mocking him because of the knee he took during the Roach fight, and now he's gotten back at everyone. The backlash hasn't stopped since the fight ended, and Gervonta Davis is feeling the heat.
Gervonta Tank Davis, GTD, and I don't mean got the draws, went up against Lamont Roach. Let me tell you something. Tank got spanked. Roach should have won. And Tank even dropped to his knee. It should have been called a knockdown.
And now, it's not just him. A new video of the referee Willis being interviewed has emerged too, and things are only getting more heated. Let's catch you up.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up.
The same fans who used to scream his name, the same analysts who once called him the most dangerous puncher in boxing, are now using one moment to tear Tank down. The internet has been ruthless, memes are flying around, and suddenly everyone has an opinion on what happened in that ring. Now, with the New York State Athletic Commission still reviewing Steve Willis's handling of the fight, things are only getting more interesting. Just hours ago, Tank had enough. He went off making it clear that he's sick of the way boxing works. Like I said, boxing is trash. Look at everyone bashing me. They're the same ones who bet on me, he said in frustration. You see, in boxing, you lose once or have a bad night, and suddenly everyone is forgetting everything and just focusing on that shitty night.
Boxing has become this thing where, you have to be undefeated for people to care about you, and that's all going to go.
He isn't wrong. Ever since the fight, the conversation hasn't been about his career, his power, or his dominance. It's been about that moment. The moment he dropped to one knee, the moment Steve Willis hesitated, the moment Lamont Roach Jr. was arguably robbed of a legitimate knockdown. Suddenly, the narrative around Tank changed. The same people who once said he was unstoppable are now saying he's vulnerable. Fighters who once avoided mentioning his name are now throwing jabs, acting like this is their moment to challenge him. And the biggest insult? People are acting like Shakur Stevenson can walk through him now.
To what may happen against Shakur Stevenson, I hear more about Shakur Stevenson after this fight than I hear about Lamont Roach, which I think is sad.
That's what really set Tank off. I lost focus in there, but that doesn't mean ES, he snapped. I'll get back up and we'll see what everyone says. I'll put all of them down. It's clear that Tank isn't just responding to the Roach fight. He's responding to the disrespect. He's looking at all the analysts, all the fans, all the fighters taking shots at him, and he's making it known that he isn't backing down. But while Tank is dealing with the backlash, the debate around the fight itself is still raging. The ProBox TV panel discussion made one thing clear. What happened in that ring was a disaster. Dan Rafael, the veteran boxing writer, didn't hold back. That bad night by Willis cost Lamont Roach a championship, deprived him of hanging the first loss on America's top fighter. A lot of stuff went bad, and it was all against Lamont Roach.
If the question is about Gervonta Davis's power, what is his power like? Is he as hard a puncher as he's made out to be? If the best name that somebody could give me of somebody that he knocked out is a little dude who was at his, fourth weight? I can't read too much into that.
Jack Rice, a respected former referee, along with trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards and former champions Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi, were all in agreement. Roach's knockdown should have been called. The way Willis handled the situation raised too many questions. First, there was the hesitation. Then, there was the fact that Tank turned his back and walked to his corner mid-round. And then, in the middle of all this, his trainer Calvin Ford was allowed to step up and wipe his face with a towel. How does that happen? Malignaggi asked during the panel. How does a fighter just walk to his corner, get his face wiped, and the ref does nothing? That's insane!
To me, I think I won the fight. Now, granted, 9th round should have been called a knockdown. Two judges on the official scorecards gave him the round 10-9. If that was a knockdown, I win the round 10-8. That's a 3-point swing.
And now, ProBox TV founder Gary Jonas, who also advises Roach, is pushing for the New York State Athletic Commission to overturn the result. He has officially filed an appeal, arguing that Roach should be declared the winner. His reasoning? The knockdown was clear, Tank turned his back mid-fight, and Calvin Ford illegally stepped onto the ring apron. Any one of those things should have been enough for Willis to take a point. People make mistakes, but this always happens to favor the A side, Breadman Edwards pointed out. It's a statement that many fans agree with. When Tank was the undefeated superstar, everything went his way. But now that there's a moment of weakness, everyone wants to talk about how boxing protects its biggest stars. Malignaggi wasn't holding back either. "You cannot call your own timeout," he said bluntly. "That's not how this works."
Tank, you lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost that.
But while the commission is busy reviewing the fight, Tank is focused on something else. Revenge. He sees what's happening. He knows that if he had knocked out Roach early, none of this would be a conversation. He knows that the same analysts criticizing him now would be praising his power if things had gone differently. And let's not forget the fighters circling around him now. Shakur Stevenson wasted no time throwing shade, implying that Tank's performance proves he can't hang with pure boxers. Ryan Garcia, of course, couldn't resist getting involved, clowning Tank on Twitter and saying, "Not so scary anymore, huh?"
So when your foot's out, 1 foot out, you're going to get in the ring and you're going to have that moment where you got to step it up and it just won't come. I think that's what happened.
What do you think about him taking the knee at that point?
I think that
should it have been ruled a knockdown?
100% should have been ruled.
Even Devin Haney, who has had his fair share of words with Tank, made sure to remind everyone that real champions don't take knees. Tank isn't just hearing this, he's taking notes. For him, this is personal now. This isn't about whether the knee should have been counted as a knockdown. This is about proving that one shaky night doesn't erase everything he's done. He's always been known as the most dangerous puncher in the division, and he plans to remind the world exactly why. "I'll put all of them down," he repeated.
Thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. The no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own 2 eyes, and
There's already talk of a rematch with Roach, but at this point, that doesn't seem like enough for Tank. He's looking beyond Roach. He wants to shut up every single person who's spoken on his name. He wants to erase this moment from history with a knockout so brutal that nobody ever brings up the Roach fight again. But the reality is, this controversy isn't going anywhere. Even if the New York Commission doesn't overturn the fight, this will be a stain on Tank's legacy, at least for now. Fighters like Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, and even Muhammad Ali all had moments where they were doubted. But the difference is how they responded. Tank's response? He's making it clear that this isn't the downfall people think it is. If anything, this is just the beginning of his next chapter. And if history has taught us anything, it's that a pissed-off Gervonta Davis is the most dangerous version of him.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
However, even though Tank hates it, criticism is still coming his way from the biggest voices in boxing. Every day, the debate over his controversial moment is growing louder, with more fighters, analysts, and even officials weighing in. The controversy isn't dying down, it's getting worse. And now, the latest twist is adding even more fuel to the fire. A video has emerged of referee Steve Willis being confronted about his handling of the situation. The clip, which quickly went viral, showed a fan catching Willis off guard, demanding answers about why he didn't score a knockdown when Tank dropped to one knee. The fan didn't hold back, calling Tank's move some B, while Willis, clearly uncomfortable, refused to comment. "I can't speak on that," Willis said. The fan pushed again. "Can't speak on that? He did some B though." Again, Willis shut it down. "I can't speak on it. I can't."
Steven, what you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak on it.
Can't speak on that?
Can't speak on it.
He did some bullshit though?
I can't speak on it.
You have no personal opinion, nothing?
Can't, especially you.
That response only made things worse. Many fans see this as an admission that Willis knows he made a mistake but refuses to acknowledge it publicly. The fact that the referee who made the call is dodging the conversation is giving Roach's team even more reason to push for an overturned result. The fight itself ended in a majority draw. One judge had it 115, 113 for Davis, while the other two scored it 114, 114. But now, with so much pressure mounting, there's a real possibility that the outcome could be changed. The WBA's president, Gilberto Mendoza Jr., has already made it clear where he stands. Let me repeat, taking a knee without a punch shall be ruled a knockdown. It affected the result of the fight.
That happened. You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Yeah, I had a fucking off night with fucking crew. Everyone has a fucking off night. It's fucking boxing. You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
And it wasn't just Mendoza Jr. who thought Roach deserved the win. Fighters like Terrence Crawford and Ryan Garcia immediately spoke out saying the wrong man had his hand raised, but the biggest bombshell yet, Canelo Alvarez has now jumped into the conversation, and his words were even harsher. Speaking on Abro in the Morning, the undisputed super middleweight champion didn't just say that Tank should have lost the round, he said he should have been disqualified. He take a knee, you need to lose like 10. 8 that round at least, Canelo said. And plus the corner go up and put a towel in his face. That's disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
For a fighter of Canelo's caliber to come out and say that Tank should have been disqualified is massive. It's not just about scoring anymore. It's about whether Tank should have even been allowed to continue the fight. If the referee had called the rules strictly, Roach might have walked away with a stoppage win. Tank's excuse for taking a knee has only added to the controversy. His own hairstylist, who styled his hair before the fight, posted on Instagram that the products used wouldn't have caused such an issue. The post was quickly deleted, but screenshots are now circulating online. And the backlash doesn't stop there. The New York State Athletic Commission has now confirmed that they attempted to use instant replay to review the 9th round, but were unable to due to a technical issue. According to their statement, during the round in question, following the commission's request for the replay video, there was a technical issue preventing the commission from receiving it within the allotted time for review. Therefore, the referee's in-ring decision was relied upon and the fight continued. That explanation isn't sitting well with a lot of people. If an instant replay system exists, but it wasn't working when it mattered most, what's the point? This isn't the first time Nuesak has been questioned over their handling of a controversial fight, and this latest situation is adding to the distrust fans already have toward the system.
I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people.
Roach's team isn't letting this go. They have now officially sent a letter to Nisak demanding that the fight result be overturned. Their argument is simple. Tank voluntarily took a knee, and the referee failed to call it a knockdown. That alone would have changed the outcome of the fight. But beyond that, Calvin Ford stepping into the ring mid-round should have resulted in either a point deduction or disqualification. Roach and his team believe that when all these factors are considered together, there's no way Tank should have kept his belt. Even Tank's own fans are struggling to defend him. Some argue that the fight was close enough that Roach winning the 9th round 10-8 wouldn't have guaranteed him a victory. Others claim that even if it was ruled a knockdown, Tank would have found a way to win in the later rounds. But those arguments are getting drowned out by the overwhelming criticism that just won't stop.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not.
To make matters worse for Tank, former referee Jack Rice, one of the most respected officials in boxing, has publicly said that the wrong call was made. Speaking on ProBox TV, Rice was blunt. It should have been a knockdown, no question about it. The fighter voluntarily went down, and under the rules, that's a knockdown. Rice also pointed out that the moment Tank took a knee, the fight should have paused. Instead, chaos erupted, with Tank walking to his corner and getting wiped down, and the referee allowing the fight to continue as if nothing happened. This was a mess, Rice said. It wasn't handled correctly at all.
It's very unfortunate, but if there was some outside factor that did get into his eye, I don't know. You're walking on a gray line, and that's when things aren't necessarily black or white. So it's a tough call, and you don't want.
For the first time in his career, Tank isn't in full control of his own narrative. The fans, the analysts, and even his fellow fighters are now dictating the conversation. And if the commission does decide to overturn the result, it could be one of the biggest scandals in modern boxing history. Devin Haney has also joined the growing list of fighters who believe Lamont Roach Jr. deserved to have his hand raised. The former undisputed lightweight champion made it clear that, in his view, Roach not only put up a strong fight but did enough to win outright. Haney's opinion carries weight. He's seen Roach develop since their amateur days, and his assessment further fuels the controversy surrounding the outcome. But it was the 9th round incident that left Haney, like many in the boxing world, in disbelief. He echoed the sentiment of fans, analysts, and fighters alike. Davis voluntarily took a knee, and it should have been called a knockdown. That was unheard of, Haney said, making it clear that he'd never seen a ruling like that in all his years in boxing. That moment in the 9th round has become the center of the dispute. Davis, clearly struggling, dropped to one knee after Roach's jab, which landed near his eye. Referee Steve Willis, standing just feet away, initially appeared to start a count before hesitating and waving for the action to continue.
Oh, stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
Roach's camp wasted no time in filing an official protest. His attorney, Greg Smith, sent a formal challenge to NYSAC Executive Director Matt Delalio, demanding that the result be overturned in Roach's favor. Though boxing protests rarely lead to overturned results, the sheer weight of this controversy, coupled with NYSAC's admission of technical failure, has raised serious questions about the sport's regulatory process. The impact of the decision, or lack thereof, was clear. Had Willis ruled it a knockdown, Roach would have won. A 10-8 round in his favor would have flipped the final scores and made him the new WBA lightweight champion.
The New York State Athletic Commission makes a statement yesterday that they're going to be reviewing Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach, 9th round, knockdown, not a knockdown, whatever, to see what the...
Davis's explanation only added fuel to the fire. It was an excuse that drew widespread skepticism, with even his own hairstylist casting doubt on the claim in a now-deleted Instagram post. Despite all the backlash, the WBA initially defended Willis's decision. The sanctioning body released an article on its website stating that the referee's call was not unreasonable or unjustifiable. The article argued that skeptics were wrong to suggest that Davis benefited from Willis's decision and concluded that no knockdown should have been recorded. The statement only made matters worse, as fans, fighters, and analysts erupted over what they saw as blatant favoritism. The backlash forced WBA President Gilberto Mendoza to act. He quickly had the article removed from the website and distanced the organization from its claims. Mendoza then took an unusual step. He personally apologized to Roach and his father via social media. Champ, as president of the WBA, I must apologize for the opinion of a collaborator of the website. We believed in you since day one. We knew you would have a marvelous performance and feel proud of you as champion, Mendoza wrote. His direct message to Roach's father carried the same tone, acknowledging the unfairness of the situation while insisting that the WBA had always supported Roach's journey. But apologies weren't enough. The controversy had already reached a boiling point, and Mendoza knew the WBA had to take further action.
Rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we taking?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July.
The biggest move came when Mendoza publicly announced that he had asked the WBA committee to push for an immediate rematch. I have asked the WBA committee to follow up Lamont Roach Jr.'s direct rematch case closely, Mendoza stated. However, we believe the parties, as expressed in the post-fight interview, will amicably agree to run it again. Davis himself has claimed that he is open to a rematch. However, given the circumstances, many doubt his sincerity. If a rematch were to happen, Roach's team would likely push for a different referee, given how costly Willis's decision proved to be.
If I hit him with a little jab or whatever the case, oh, that ain't nothing. Or if he hit me, or if I block a shot, I was like, oh, too slow, or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that.
Meanwhile, the NYSAC remains under fire for its role in the controversy. Their admission of a technical issue preventing replay review has drawn heavy criticism, with many calling for reforms to ensure such failures don't happen in the future. The commission's explanation did little to ease concerns. A spokesman confirmed that the issue occurred during the round in question, when the commission requested a replay but was unable to receive the video in time. Therefore, the referee's in-ring decision was relied upon, and the fight continued, the spokesman said. With even the biggest names in the sport weighing in, the pressure on NYSAC is mounting. Roach's team continues to push for justice, while the WBA is now being forced to reconsider its stance after initially defending the referee's decision. As it stands, Davis retains his title, but the controversy surrounding this fight is far from over. Calls for a rematch are growing louder, and the scrutiny on NYSAC's handling of the situation isn't going away anytime soon. The commission's inquiry will likely take weeks, if not months, to conclude, but once new details come in, you know you're the first one to receive it, so subscribe to not miss any updates.